Hi guys, this is Athene, and this is Reese.
Hi guys.
And this is actually a video. We're gonna talk about stuff you guys have been talking in the comments, because a lot of people have been asking, what is the right thing to do? What can I do practically? Okay, I wanna make a difference. What can I do? What is very important to be aware is that every single action you do, every choice you make in how you spend your time, how you buy stuff, how you interact with people, in a sense, like can ripple in a good way, or can like ripples can ripple, and you can ripple in a way that is positive and constructive. You can ripple in things that are less constructive. Just like when you, for example, make choices about how you spend your money, like it has a much bigger impact than your vote. When you go vote for a president or for a minister or whatever for the elections, like that's one thing you do every 4 years. Like they say, yeah, I do my job, I work, I pay my taxes, I go vote, I have done my contribution in society. Whenever you go and you buy something, you're supporting a company, you're supporting a certain lifestyle, a certain policy by the way you spend your money.
And also supporting how those things are manufactured, etc., etc. Like how many companies have their products manufactured in, you know, cheap labor situations.
Even that, it's not so black and white. It's not so easy.
That's true.
Because let's say those companies would be pulled out, those people would end up dying. We live in a society where it's still better than, it's the least evil of both. Although there is companies that actually try and avoid that. Like for example, Oxfam try to actually make sure the people that work on the ground, the farmers and stuff, get a good pay and stuff. I'm sure like some people can bring up articles about Oxfam scandals, but the thing is, like when you look at it, it's almost like if a company just exploits, they're almost immune to scandals because they're already like, you know, like,
yeah. We love to point out whenever there's some sort of charity or whatever doing something wrong. We don't give a shit about all the other companies producing all the shit that just blatantly exploit.
You're showing your iPhone, and now people are gonna say like, hey, you got an iPhone and you're talking about this shit. What do you have to say about that?
Guilty. Well, it's an old iPhone 4.
You're a douchebag.
It's an old iPhone 4.
You're a douchebag, man. You're talking the walk, but you're not walking the talk.
Well, you're doing most of the talking. I'll stay out of it. Well, you know, as people like to do on the stream sometimes, and when they do that, they like point out like, yeah, well, what about your lifestyle? We have a very, very strict lifestyle in that regard. Feel free to pick our lifestyle apart and stuff.
Well, but
you'll find some things, but our lifestyle is a bit freaky if you really look at it in depth.
It's an iPhone 4, by the way. It's not the iPhone 6, or what is it now, 7?
I think the 6 is about to come out. I got it a while back, a long time ago when it came out, because it makes a big difference when we're at cons and traveling, and when we're, you know, doing...
Guilty, man, guilty, guilty. Now I can do whatever I want. Even my idols are doing it. You got other people talking about my Razer stuff. That's another thing. Like, yeah, Razer produces their things in where? In Singapore?
I don't know. It depends on the product, I guess. But yeah, I guess a lot of it is Singapore. I have no idea what the factories are like or anything like that. Hard to say.
And yeah, like it is all also consumerism and stuff. And that's where it becomes very important to be aware about stuff. It's like when I say, you decide with your money which companies you support. I mean, like, we need phones. We need computers. We need clothes. We need our furniture and stuff. When you go and you buy it, you're gonna look at which companies are the ones that are most, you know, clean in the way they do it. It's very important to not try to be a white knight all the way, because it's not possible. You always have to make compromises, and that is something a lot of people like to do along the way. When they come into confrontation where they have to make compromise, it's suddenly too much for their awareness, and they just go all the way. Yeah, it doesn't matter, I can be clean anyway, so I might as well just not give a shit anyway. Like everything is shit, fuck everything. But that's not true. By the way you spend your money, by the choices you make, you can take companies that are less evil. Sometimes it is, like most of the time, if not all the time, it's a choice between the lesser evils. It's just because we live in an economy, in a world economy, where things like work the way they do. Like if you are gonna start building your stuff in your own country, it's gonna become much more expensive and other people will just not buy it. It's like the economy, it's how capitalism works. Of course, some smart asses can say like, yeah, what about Tesla? They're making their cars in the US and they're a very successful company, but they have the technology on their side. Of course, you have companies that try to, you know, be very innovative and have a very strong work ethic in that regards, and that's just good. But I'm just saying, like, it's very hard to have that in the entire field of what you need. It's easy to pinpoint and say like, what about this, what about that? And even if you go into a debate, it's always easy to bring up certain things and say like, oh, this and that. Like, you can say bad things about almost every single company in history. Even when we talk about Save the Children, sometimes people come with articles of Save the Children in London that certain executives earn way too much. Even if that was the case, because we're raising money for Save the Children US, which is a different organization than Save the Children UK. Even if that was the case, when you look at the numbers, 10% goes to administration and 90% goes to the kids.
90% is literally directly spent on
programs
in the field. So actual medical equipment, supplies, making sure that children's lives are saved. So 90% is an exceptional
If I look at it from a very like practical point of view, I would say those 10%, they can throw a party, they can even buy a Bugatti, I don't give a shit. They can go to the McDonald's and eat themselves for that 10%. If 90% goes to the field in a very effective way.
I like how you name McDonald's as like a high lifestyle thing. Maybe they really like McDonald's.
Maybe they really like
McDonald's. Their
McDonald's.
Ferraris over there, okay.
If I know 90% gets effectively spent, then I don't care what happens with 10%. That's the pragmatic point of view. Even though an intellectual could very easily use those 10% to justify not to care about the other 90%. And it's a very big issue. The higher moral ground you take and look down and go like and criticize everything from your little bubble and doing jack shit. We've already brought it up quite a few times.
That kind of critique can be helpful if you say, for example, hey, there's a different charity that does it better and spends even less money on administrative fees and executive wages, etc.
And is even more effective because the efficiency is very important.
Then it's very, very helpful. But we chose Save the Children because we did so much research, because we made sure to choose something in such a specific way with the matching, etc., that we have a setup where your donations translate in as many possible lives saved and affected, etc. If you see flaws in it, sure, we also see flaws in it, but it's about choosing the best possible option.
When we were talking about like what can you practically do, when we thought what can we practically do, we went through a very long way of things, because figuring out what you can practically do is not that easy. And I understand a lot of people watching it and wondering, like something we have also been wondering, and we have gone through an entire almost like learning curve to figure out what we can do, because we were first very focused on trying to gather an audience. That's why we did Best Paladin in the World and stuff. And then we tried to like inspire people to work on themselves with iPower. And what we realized is that it just didn't work at all. Like what it actually did was put the focus on the wrong part of things, where people were just having themselves centered and wanting to talk about the problems, and almost a lot of the times just make stuff up. We've gone really through a long learning curve, and then we started working on Athene's theory of everything, where we try to really like have a very strong psychological documentary where we say like, yeah, the knowledge is there, like you just gotta watch it and you can really click if you have the right mindset. Although that was a really big bummer, even though the video, like it's one of our most popular videos now, which
fascinating.
is fascinating.
The most subscribers we get on a daily basis, it keeps coming from that video. That's amazing.
Yeah, maybe it is something that people are actually it's really very
and sometimes
widespread.
I see people in the Twitch chat say like, yeah, that's how I found you guys. It must be incredible to find us through that and then see our other videos. It must be a very interesting experience.
But yeah, either way, like we did Athene's theory of everything, and then we started doing streaming a lot, and then we started raising money for charity. We've always been very charity driven ourselves. We've been donating a lot of money ourselves as well in the past, even before we did all the charity fundraising, a lot to the EFF. I think the EFF is probably one of the best organizations in the world to donate to, even better than Save the Children.
The EFF is the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They fight for all sorts of rights regarding everything that is digital. So it can be net neutrality, It can be any sort of DRM practices that really threaten the open market. That's the kind of stuff the EFF fights for. I believe they are, for example, responsible for making sure that jailbreaking your iPhone is not illegal, because I believe Apple wanted to try to lobby for that and shit like that. Very ludicrous thing to do. If I want to do with my device what I want, I can fucking do that shit. They basically protect your digital and online rights.
And then you might immediately say like, yeah, but why if that is more efficient than Save the Children, why don't you raise? Because let me explain you why I think EFF is more important. It's because like when you just look at a pyramid, if it wasn't for our net neutrality and our ability to have an open access internet, we wouldn't even be able to raise the money for Save the Children in the first place. So it is actually a more important aspect. You need to first have the ability to raise money before you can raise money.
The extent to which the internet enables activism is absolutely revolutionary. It is crucial to, you know, everything that we've done this far and so many other things. Look at everything that happened with Anonymous, for example, all that stuff. It only happened because of the internet. So
also Obama being elected instead of McCain. And I know some people are going to say, oh, Obama is an asshole, this and that. Still
I don't think you would have preferred McCain.
Still 1,000 times better than McCain. And then who was it? Romney.
Oh yeah, Romney.
Also 1,000 times better than Romney. I know some people are gonna comment to this and that.
All the comments will now be about this.
Doesn't matter, like we're gonna shift it very fast because we're gonna say some more controversial shit in this video. But you can wonder like, why don't you raise money for the EFF then? Why for Save the Children? Because saving children's lives is something we can raise exponentially more money and inspire exponentially more people with than raising money for the EFF. What we are doing is also trying to inspire other people. It's not just about raising money. For us, one of the most important part in everything we do, aside from being able to save children's lives, is inspire people to become better people. Because at the end of the day, you guys are the future. We try to make it ripple as much as possible. One guy of you guys could be the next Bill Gates, you know? So we really try to inspire people and doing it through a very pure cause. Saving children's lives, I don't think there is a better pure cause that you can raise money for. It makes our message much more powerful. So that's why we raise money for Save the Children. And what we actually have come to realize is that it is one of the most effective things to do. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but just to put things in context, we have reached so far with the gaming community, what we have achieved with what we're doing is we have reached more than 1.5 million children. I don't know if you guys realize that. I think that's more kids than in Belgium.
That's 1.5 million children whose lives have been significantly impacted. Many of them may have been saved. It can be simple things like giving a child a zinc tablet when it needs it. You can have very simple symptoms, very simple cases of pneumonia or diarrhea or whatever, where the most basic, less than $1 of a cost type of medicine can make a difference between the child recovering or not.
That is absolutely insane, because if you can go as effective as going to which also, because the donations also get multiplied by 16 and you get also games, but the games like that is the least thing that I would donate for, but like that's also something on top. We really came up with a system that is a bit like, it's unique on the internet. Money gets multiplied, it's tax deductible, you can get games for it. It's
MC Next Points as well.
MC Next Points as well, a server that also gathers a lot of money. It's really crazy what we like managed to set up, and that's why we think like what we're doing is very efficient. If there is anything more efficient, we would be doing it, and we're also open to listen to it. We're not working for Save the Children, we're completely independent, and we're always eager to learn. And
we really are completely independent, by the way. If we visit their programs in Africa or in Indonesia, we actually pay for our flight tickets and everything. So like, fucking costs a lot of money.
Stuff that we don't even bring up on the stream. like some people in my family say like, yeah, you raise so much money, they could pay your tickets. I'm saying like, yeah, that's how we roll. It's because we know why we're doing it. It's for kids. I mean, like if you go there and you see the price for our tickets, we could freaking feed an entire village or build a school there, you know. It is a bit crazy to see the impact that your dollars or your euros have in third world or developing countries. It's just insane. Like those people there work for less than $1 a day. It's absolutely mind-blowing that we live in a society where that is completely disconnected. And that's also why we can buy stuff so cheap, you know. It's gonna sound really crazy, but we managed to turn slavery into slave labor without any, you know, conscious, like bad consciousness. We just lock them out. Well, we don't even lock them. We just have them in other countries, and we just let it all do its run, and we feel like everything is normal. But those people are being exploited like crazy. I mean,
and it's interesting how the geography simply allows people, fixes it, like allows people to even rationalize. And someone in the chat yesterday said, someone even donated and said like, hey guys, it's good that you're doing this stuff, but have you helped people in your own city, your own neighborhood? Because it's nice that you're doing this, but you gotta look after, you know, people close to you as well. And I said, you know what, get in a fucking rocket, go into space and look at the Earth. It's like everybody here is close to me. Like this is a very small ball of dust that we're on. We don't have to discriminate just because people are not on our side of the border or something like that.
Well, all those borders are imaginary to start off with. Yeah. I mean, like, we're just all one human species, and the more we think collectively and globally, the more we will move forward as a species, because there's so much potential all around the world. So when we think about practicalities, raising awareness, being a better person around you, like raising awareness, inspiring other people to be better people by just being a better person yourself, the way you spend your money, being conscious about the way you spend your money. One thing, this is just an idea, but everybody has to actually figure it out for themselves. But one way is like stream and raise money, fundraise. Like we have an entire system where you can start your own fundraise, where you can fundraise. Like there's
Click
people
a
like
button on gamingforgood.net, it starts your own page on gamingforgood.net. You can just start fundraising there.
And you might say like, yeah, but what can I do? Like it's Jeppy, doesn't even have that many viewers, raised $20,000. That's without multiplier. With multiplier, that's like almost $300,000. Just by himself, without that many views at all. Like he just went to the people he worked with, he talked about it. I mean, imagine if we all would be doing that. We would be raising, instead of 10 million or 20 million, we'd be raising hundreds of millions. And you might say like, yeah, this money, like that money really translates into change that is more efficient than if you would go and work and pull out the hours, because those dollars are currencies that are much more labor productive, intellectual productive, anything on the other side, in other countries. Like what you can do with $10 in Indonesia is 1,000 times more than what you can do with $10 here. At the end of the day, when you look at the entire world and you look at how things are unbalanced, you can really bring balance by just, you know, redistributing things. And that's where another thing, like a lot of people can really like go, yeah, communism, this and that. Like we have too much, those have too little. Like you just help those with too little. Like it's not communism.
That would be an understatement.
Common sense.
Too much.
Yeah, that is not communism, that is common sense. And we live in a society where at least you have the choice to do so. So you don't even have to globalize it and go that route. You can just say like, yeah, you have the choice to do so. And I would almost say you have the responsibility to do so. So raising money for charities that are very efficient is a very practical thing to do. Inspire people around you. And also what you can do is just be aware, like working on yourself. Some people have to work on themselves, have to make sure they are financially stable. Some people are financially very unstable. And the best way to do that is take a job with a goal, with a strong goal, with a vision. I played poker, although I wouldn't recommend that to other people, but like if it wasn't poker, I would be doing other things. I would be able to first put myself in a financial independent situation so I can do what I think is really right in an efficient way. And then you also start working with another mindset. You see money differently. You just don't go and spend your money for the sake of it in a very passive way. No, you save up, you think about what you're gonna do, you're gonna be more constructive, you're gonna be more sharp about the way you wanna go things. And raising money for charity is one thing that we do. I don't know if it's something that everybody can do, but it's a very practical thing that a lot of people can do. And something where you can start off with, like set a goal, try to raise that, talk to people, build on yourself, work on yourself. But the best way to work on yourself is just do the right thing anyway. So
all these things are basically different forms of activism, and it's like, what's very cool about it is it's something you build momentum with. So as soon as you just start making small changes in like basically consumer behavior, or maybe your diet, or maybe how you interact with people, and as soon as you start making decisions and start making changes, you will find yourself very quickly in a momentum where you automatically become more aware because you are making those choices, and as a result you will find new things. You will discover things that you didn't see before, where you say like, that's something I can make a difference with. So simply taking the step to become aware and making even the tiniest choices can lead to huge differences in your life and the lives of others.
It will make you more happy. It will make you more confident. It will make you more attractive. It will make you more successful. Like, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's almost like a success formula that is so simple. And the thing is that the only thing you have to do is just be activist oriented. For people that really don't know where to start, you can exercise, you can eat more healthy, you can, like, those things are really things you can do yourself. It's right in front of you. You can do it right now. You can go and do a few push-ups right now. You can start having a working routine, help your mind to be sharp.
Because some people right now would be like, how is that gonna help? It's like, it's all connected, man. Like, a healthy mind really depends on a lot of stuff. It depends on you being in shape and stuff. You will be so much more sharp. You will literally make better decisions when you have a better diet and a better exercising routine, etc. When
you start being more proactive and really work on those things, you can grow and you will ripple and you will, yeah, like, be a better person for yourself, for your environment. And it all starts, and that's the crazy thing, with a simple click. Like, when we talked about with this, it really all starts, it's just a simple click. Like, in order to do all that stuff or not, to be in that momentum or not, it's just a simple click, and you can click yourself in it all the time by just being aware of it. You can just have that active minded. Don't start with, like, you go and then you like with labeling yourself as a failure and shit. Fuck all that label bullshit. We made a video about that as well. Like, don't label yourself as a loser or whatever. No, you can achieve anything. You have great potential. Everybody has.
And don't try to rationalize your way out of everything like the people in the comments are doing.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, just scroll down and see what you shouldn't do.
And now it's all good comments and they go like, hey, so I shouldn't be good.